What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to the TV Toycast YouTube channel. And today we are unboxing the brand new Epic Toys Deluxe Edition Retro Diamond Dallas Page. I have been looking forward to this figure for a long time. And you know, it's kind of funny. I'll just throw it out there. I had written off Epic Toys. I really had, because I had told myself, you know, I don't need stuff from every retro company. There's so many retro companies out there. Certainly, I don't need to buy from all of them. And so when they were putting, you know, of course, Epic Toys was previously known as Cella, and they did a few good ones, you know, Atom Bomb, but they had a lot of misses too. The Nick Aldis didn't really hit for me, and there was a few other releases that just didn't really, like, they didn't feel worth it, I guess. And so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to step away from that. I've already got Grapplers and Gimmicks and Zombie and all these other companies, so I don't need to dive into everything. And so I told myself I'm not going to buy Epic. But let me tell you, this is the figure that won me over. And I kind of like the fact that I can do a little reveal of it here. Diamond Dallas Page, the one and only DDP. Look at that. I mean, that might be, this could be possibly the greatest independent retro figure of all time. And of course, comes with all these accessories here, making it, you know, what they're calling the deluxe version. So I'm really excited to unbox this. Huge fan of DDP. I feel like he was one of the biggest bright spots of late 90s WCW. Obviously, WCW came in, you know, the late 80s. NWA, Ted Turner buys it. We all know the story, right? This is not a history of wrestling or YouTube video, obviously. But, you know, WCW started kind of taking off with guys like Hogan, Hall and Nash, Macho Man all showing up. But DDP was kind of a homegrown guy. I mean, I know he had been in AWA previously, but he was essentially a homegrown, much like Goldberg. And he became a top contender, a world champion, a United States champion. He called himself the People's Champion, and he had one amazing finishing move. Maybe the best finishing move of the 90s, minus, say, the DDT, which was really more of an 80s move, and that was the Diamond Cutter. Everybody remembers that, right? The Diamond Cutter hand sign. The move itself, which a lot of people know now as the RKO, before was the Ace Crusher, I believe, from Johnny Ace. But no one did it like DDP. And he made people believe. He caught the move literally out of any position. You never knew where the Diamond Cutter was coming from, and that's really what made him such a big star of the 90s. So, of course, this deluxe edition, number one. So I guess that means Epic Toys has more of these coming. Actually, as I record this, Series 3 figures are going to be arriving very soon. I ordered Onita, Boris Yukov, and Bobby the Brain Heenan. I passed on Eddie Guerrero just because I have a lot of Eddie figures. I didn't feel like that was totally needed. But I love the back of the box here. Of course, Diamond Dallas Page, height 6'5", 245 pounds, from the Jersey Shore. Signature move, of course, the Diamond Cutter. Bang! One of the hottest stars of the late 90s, DDP diamond cut his way through the competition to find himself on top of the mountain as the world heavyweight champion, competing against and beating the biggest stars in the history of the sport. To this day, DDP is still making an impact on the world with his hugely successful DDP yoga. And I know that because I do DDP yoga. Not as much as I should, but it's quite a workout, let me tell you. 2017 Hall of Fame inductee, 3-time World Heavyweight Champion, 2-time United States Champion, 5-time World Tag Team Champion, World Television Champion, and of course, European Champion. There's a nice image there of him doing the Diamond Cutter sign and delivering the Diamond Cutter. Very cool stuff. This is also my favorite look of DDP, with the tights. The glare is a little bit bad there on the packaging, but we'll get a better look when it's unboxed. I always liked the DDP logo tights. I didn't like the jeans as much. Of course, I know that was kind of something he wore later on after he really became over, was the jeans, and then eventually switching back to the tights. But to me, this was always going to be the best look ever for DDP, was the tights. I'm having trouble. Let's see if I can get this unboxed here. So basically a traditionally carded figure right there. I'll get that in the shot. Looks good. Just like you would, you know, have from any other wrestling figure company, I guess, there. And then, of course, the accessories here. Plenty of accessories for DDP. We got extra arms, a t-shirt, and the rib bandage. The classic rib bandage. Definitely not used to hide your belly, right? The secrets, tricks of the trade for the wrestling business. Put a little rib tape on and no one will see your belly. Alright, so we get the arms out. Of course, the t-shirt and the rib. I actually thought this was going to be plastic, but it's actually cloth. The rib bandage. Of course, it Velcro's there. Very nice. Very cool. Epic Toys knocked it out of the park with this. I'm really glad I dove back in because these are really... Oh, I'm dropping the t-shirt. These are really good figures. And I think Epic Toys has done an amazing job with these. So right there you see the concept art and the tattoos, the logos. Very cool. And of course, he has the extra arms, which is not something we see a lot in retros. However, good friend... well, he's having a hard time standing. That's never good. There we go. Good friend and customizer, Jason Wolf, is no stranger to magnet articulation. Oh, cool. Kind of pops in there. Very cool. So you can articulate and move him around. Doesn't fall out, which I like. Head goes back and forth. Waist articulation looks really cool. Check out those logos. Looks great. Looks like he's got all the tattoos here. We got the arm tattoos, star on the chest, and the other arm tattoo. Very cool. Taped up with that black tape there, but the other arms are white tape, which is kind of fun. So we're going to pop those in here. So they pop right in. Wow, to form the diamond cutter. How cool is that? That is amazing. Bang! Oh man, that's really cool. That to me is exactly why this should be a deluxe figure. That is really, really cool. So let's mess with the other accessories here. I do like the magnet articulation, but I was saying with Jason Wolf, that's how he does his figures, magnet articulation. We will be reviewing some of those very, very soon on the channel, some of the Wolf's Chop Shop Hasbros I got. So, yeah, the old man gut tape, as it were. So the shirt, a little bit unique here. I'm going to take the tape off because I don't think you don't need that with the shirt. Doesn't have any Velcro on it. It just slides over. But you can take his arms off, so I guess it's a little easier to put on. Very stretchy material, so it's not bad. So, slide the DDP shirt. No vest here. DDP was always kind of known as a vest guy. I've always liked a vest as entrance gear. But we'll put the traditional arms back on. Maybe like his entrance arms. So it's kind of two versions of DDP. With the shirt, what do you guys think? Wow, I think that looks really good. Set him up right there. Very, very cool. This is a great figure. I mean, this is legitimately an amazing figure. And the more I look at it, the more I like it. I love the tight designs. I love the t-shirt. I mean, I actually had that shirt back in the day. Back in 1997, me and my family visited Disney World. And for one day, we went into Universal Studios, which is also out there in Orlando. And WCW happened to be doing like a worldwide taping. So they were taping like several shows a day. I actually saw a very young Goldberg on the card. I think he had just debuted, but like was relatively green. Raven and Saturn were there as part of Raven's flock. And then a lot of luchadors. I know Super Callow was there. He was in the first match. And a few other guys I didn't really know at the time. And I was a pretty diehard wrestling fan, so I felt like if you had someone I didn't know, there probably weren't guys that were featured on TV much. But it was still really cool to see. We were like third row from the ring. It was awesome. But later on, you leave the park and not leave the park, you leave that part of the studios there, and they had a merchandise stand, and I picked up that very DDP shirt and was so proud to wear that to school. Look at that. That was so cool. And in fact, DDP became quickly my favorite wrestler after one single incident in school. And kids, I don't recommend this, but this is a true story, and I'll tell it here. There's a kid in my class that was kind of bully-ish. And not bad, and I didn't get bullied a lot in school because I was a little bit of a bigger kid, but he'd kind of push you from the back and do things, and you get like, "What are you doing?" He'd be like, "Oh, I'm just messing with you, man. I'm just messing with you," and just try to play it off like it was no big deal. Well, one day, and I don't know why, he came and I was kind of like doing something, and I was up on one foot. I may have had my foot resting on something, or I was taking a step or something, and he pushed me because I was on one foot. I really lost my balance hard. And I didn't fall, but I kind of stumbled forward. And, of course, he laughs like it's the funniest thing ever. I get up, and I promise you, this was the greatest moment of my elementary school days. I grabbed him around the neck, and I just jumped up, and I did a diamond cutter. Now, obviously, it didn't really hurt him, but it really embarrassed him because I took him off his feet. It was such a funny thing because it was like, I didn't know what I was doing clearly, but I went up in the air, and I just held on as tight as I could, thinking, okay, he's going to have to fall down because I'm going down. And so, boom, I hit. And, of course, the collective, oh, like from everybody, because Yeah, I just gave him a diamond cutter. And of course, everyone's like, dude, what was that? And I'm like, that was the diamond cutter. And yeah, he felt very embarrassed. So it was a very proud moment for me. But yeah, this DDP figure is fantastic. This, of course, I picked up over on Wrestling Asylum Wrestling Store, whatever it's called. And they do their own like Remco style line, but a lot of people aren't really happy with that because there's not been a lot of updates as to what has been going on with those. But yeah, look at this. I think this probably took a lot of work to make sure that these lined up so that the hands could do the diamond cutter sign. I remember DDP's figure history has not been the cleanest. His first figure, of course, being the WCW original San Francisco Toy Makers. Not the best likeness. Those had like an action where you pushed a button and their arms would go up and down. It was okay for what it was. Nothing spectacular. He then got a WCW Toy Biz that had the diamond cutter sign over his head. Much better likeness, but not the greatest figure. And I think probably his best likeness has been Mattel. Mattel's done pretty good with DDP, I feel like. I know he had some classic superstars, and he had some other Jakks figures, especially when he was still with the company. But nothing has hit like those Mattels. In fact, they did an early Mattel. I think it was a Legends figure where he's in, I want to say he's in these type of tights right here. And that's probably my favorite. In fact, that's actually one I definitely want to get and add to my Elite collection. That's not currently in there. But I'm going to put all the accessories kind of in the shot here. So you got 2 arms, or 2 extra arms. The rib tape, the t-shirt. I think the only thing missing might have been the vest. The vest would have been nice inclusion. But it's not a deal breaker for me. I think this is a really cool retro. I think as far as what I'm looking for in retros, like look at that face scan. Very, very cool. I mean, just that's DDP all day. Probably the best DDP ever. So, yeah. Diamond cutter. There it is. Oh, man. Such a cool figure. Such a cool figure from Epic Toys. They knocked it out of the park. I know the Killer Bees should be arriving sometime soon. My understanding is those are an in-stock drop, so hopefully we'll see that. I know they have a Dr. Death Steve Williams in the works, and they're going to be dabbling in Galoobs. So we haven't heard a lot of news recently from Epic Toys, but I'm excited to see what they've got coming out for 2025 and beyond, because this line is a lot of fun. Really enjoyed this DDP, and can't wait to get more retros, as I got a ton coming, and probably even more to order as 2025 rolls on very, very soon. DDP though, what do you guys think of DDP in general? More DDP figures? What do you think? I would love to see a DDP big rubber guy. I think that would be cool if they could pull that off. He's with this company, so I would say it's probably doable. I know he recently had a Legends figure within the last couple of probably the last year or so. Him and Brutus Beefcake, I know those were a little bit hard to find, but it was more of a 2002 era DDP. So I still would love to see at 96, 97, this era DDP, basically relaunched with Mattel if he's still under a deal, which I assume that he is. But yeah, I want more DDP. Give me all the Diamond Dallas Page figures you can, because I think it's awesome. But that's all I got this week for this edition of the TB Toycast unboxing here on YouTube. Make sure to check out the TB Toycast podcast. Every Thursday we have a different main event all the time. Always fun stuff. And we cover so many great toy lines. It's actually kind of hard for me to think of some. But I'm going to throw this one out there because I recently did it and it was so much fun. I had Judd Lorman on the show. Judd is an actor. He's known for like SEAL Team. It's probably his most well-known role. He's been a series regular on SEAL Team since the beginning, essentially. But here's the thing. Judd's a massive wrestling fan. Judd's also an action figure fan. Judd does his own customs. Figuratively_obsessed over on Instagram. Check out all his customs. He does awesome work. He kind of focuses on the retro lines, but very, very cool stuff. So much fun to talk with. So check out my conversation with Judd Lorman over on TB Toycast. But that's it. That's all I got for real this time. Thank you guys for checking out the TB Toycast YouTube channel, and we will see you in the toy aisle.
Yeah. One more time. It ain't over till I say it's over. So lock the cage up, cause this is a takeover. The wait's over. If this the final time we meet, then you'll be on your back on my feet. Then I'll tip the cage over as a hangover. I'm super fly so I can splash off the top. And I can shut down the shot.